guests, a special guest and two little guests. Our daughter's here from out near Radium Hot Springs in British Columbia, and she has her two little children with her. Her husband would have loved to have been here, but he works for Parks Canada out there in the Kootenai Park area, and he just couldn't get the time off to come. But Sharon has come and brought Crystal, her oldest child, and Ian is, he'll be 2 in June, and Crystal is 5. And so I thought I'd like to have them come and say hello, and Sharon's the one that's been playing the flute on previous programs, and she's going to play again today. And I'd just like to ask her a question or two. What are you doing out there? Why did you go out there, or what's happening now? And just tell us why you went out to British Columbia to start with.
Well, I would have to say it's the beauty of the mountains out there, and the lakes, and the natural surroundings.
But you went out there to work.
I did go out there to work, yeah. But I was attracted out there by nature.
And you also teach music, so you're busy at that. Since you're married, you settled down to the music. You did work for Parks Canada as well. That's how you met your husband.
That's right.
And Crystal, can you say hello too? Have you any little thing you want to say? You don't. Are you happy to be visiting Grandma and Grandpa Morgan? You miss your daddy, of course, but have you any?
She's been enjoying making maple syrup with Grandpa.
Well, thank you for coming to visit us today. I just don't know where to go from here.
Well, maybe we should have the flute interlude now and then.
Maybe the music would be a good thing for sure. All right. We'll go to the music then.
Well, I would like to play 3 songs, and I thought it would be nice to play songs that most people know, and also songs which mean a lot to me that I feel are quite beautiful. The first one is How Great Thou Art. And I think everyone knows Amazing Grace. It's such a beautiful song.
Thank you, Sharon, for that flute music, and we really appreciate you bringing your flute along. And your dad requested that you would do this, and so I'm sure he's...
Right, I'm pleased, yeah, very pleased. Why shouldn't I be?
Do you give lessons, teach the flute out there where you live in British Columbia?
That's right, yes.
And piano.
Mm-hmm.
And what about Crystal? Does she take piano lessons? Yeah? Well, I'm glad to know that. And I understand you were in some kind of a contest or something. What was that, Sharon?
Oh, Crystal was in, she composed a little piece on the piano and wrote the words for it. And she submitted her composition and she received honorable mention.
Oh, I'm sure you're very pleased about that. That was fun, was it, Crystal? Oh, Ian had, we had our little grandson too here, but he was just waking up from his sleep and he was a little fussy, so his Auntie Ann and Auntie Glenna have taken him out. Now let's get on with this, Sharon. What can you tell us about something more about British Columbia out there, about your hiking in the mountains and all these things, and your backpack with children in, and your husband, he met a grizzly bear one day, didn't he, in there on his job? And,
yes, my husband is in charge of the hiking trails in Kootenai National Park, and he sees grizzly bears all the time, in the summer, of course. He's encountered them fairly close at hand, hiking down the trail. One story was he just rounded a corner and there was the bear about 30 feet away. And so he said his heart was just pounding. And, of course, the thing with bears is that you don't excite them or threaten them, try not to threaten them. So he just gradually backed away off of the trail. And then, very fortunately, the bear didn't feel threatened by him, so the bear just wandered off as well. But he does see them all the time.
Well, I'm glad I'm not out on the trail. One thing I don't like are bears. You were talking before we came down today. You said you'd like me to read a poem that your grandma, my mother,
Yeah.
used to, about the old violin?
Sure, I was thinking of, the kind of readings that I would like to hear in a program like this. And, of course, I remember my grandmother, Eva J. Orr, and she would recite many poems, and I think that would be great if you'd do one of the poems that she would always recited.
Well, she was asked many times to recite this poem, The Old Violin, and I came away without the words to it today, but I think I do know it off by heart. I'll try my best anyway. 'Twas battered and scarred, and the auctioneer thought it scarcely worth his while to waste much time on the old violin, but held it up with a smile. "What am I bidding, good folks?" he cried. "Who'll start bidding for me?" A dollar, now two, only two, $2, and who'll make it three? $3 once, $3 twice, and going for three. But no, from the room far back, a gray-haired man came forward and picked up the bow. Then, wiping the dust from the old violin and tightening up all the strings, he played a melody pure and sweet, as sweet as an angel sings. The music ceased, and the auctioneer, in a voice that was quiet and low, said, "What am I bid for the old violin?" And he held it up with the bow. $1,000, and who'll make it two? $2,000, and who'll make it three? 3,000 once, 3,000 twice, and going and gone, said he. The people cheered, but some of them cried, "We do not quite understand. What changed its worth?" The man replied, "The touch of the master's hand." And many a man with life out of tune and battered and scarred with sin is auctioned cheap through the thoughtless crowd, much like the old violin. A mess of parties, a glass of wine, a game, and he travels on. He's going once, he's going twice, he's going and almost gone. But the master comes, and the foolish crowd never can quite understand the work of a soul or the change that's wrought by the touch of the master's hand. And, when you mentioned that poem, I thought of another one, and I thought I'd like to read it, and it's in your grandmother's book, and so I'm just going to read it as well. I heard her repeat this many times, too, and it's called Mother's Trust. And I'm sure now that you have two children of your own, you think more than ever about some of these things that Grandma, as we call her, used to recite. Beneath, and this is one that she always liked so much, "Beneath the blood-stained lintel, I with my children stand. A messenger of judgment is passing through the land. There is no other refuge from the destroyer's face. Beneath the blood-stained lintel shall be our hiding place. The Lamb of God has suffered, our sins and griefs he bore. By faith the blood is sprinkled above our dwelling's door. The Lord, who judges righteously, has given that sacred sign. Tonight the blood-stained lintel shall shelter me and mine." Of course, that has reference to when the children of Israel were in bondage to the Egyptians, and the angel of death was going to go through the land that night, and if the people had killed the lamb and put its blood over the doorpost and the lintel, then their eldest child would not die. But if that blood wasn't there, then there would be death there that night. So that's what that has reference to. "My Savior, for my dear ones, I claim thy promise true. The lamb is for the household, the children's Savior too. On earth the little children once felt thy trust, thy touch divine. Beneath the blood-stained lintel, thy blessing give to mine. O thou who gave them, guard them, those wayward little feet, the wilderness before them, the ills of life to meet. My mother love is helpless, I trust them to thy care. Beneath the blood-stained lintel, my peace is ever there. The faith I rest upon thee, thou wilt not disappoint. With wisdom, Lord, to train them, my shirking heart anoint. With all my children, Father, I then shall see thy face, under the blood-stained lintel, the token of thy grace. A wonderful Redeemer who suffered for our sake,
when o'er the guilty nations the judgment storm shall break. With joy from that safe shelter shall we then meet thine eye. Beneath the blood-stained lintel, my children, Lord, and I. So, I wonder, Crystal, can you tell us anything? A little thing you did at school or anything? What grade are you in?
Your class. What is your class?
Oh, you're still in kindergarten. I see. Well, you know any little poems or anything from school, or a little song or anything? Would you like to sing for us?
Well, I think Crystal could tell you that in the kindergarten they're learning the hand signs of the deaf for all the letters of the alphabet. So she can do almost all of them now.
That's interesting.
I can do all of them.
Oh, you can. That's right. She can do all of them.
But she can't put a sentence together?
Oh, she can. She can spell.
I love you or something
Yeah.
like that?
Mm-hmm. She can spell some words.
Well, thank you. You don't want to do that for us now? No. Okay. All right. Can you suggest anything else just right now, or?
Well, I could talk about my flute playing. I play with a quartet, flute, violin, cello, and piano. We play, for all different occasions and concerts. And I also play with the Kootenai Chamber Orchestra and the flute player for them. And
Well, yes, I should have asked you that question myself. I intended to. And you just plan to continue teaching like that out there? And, well, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And Dad, have you anything to say before you read us the scripture, or do we break now?
I'm very proud of all my children. Major, music teacher, bank manager gone outside there. So I'm quite proud of all my children.
And your grandchildren.
And my grandchildren, of course. They're very special. Now, how many minutes is there left? Yeah. When you get my age, you don't have time left for anything. So I got to be brief. 10 verses more I want to read out of this chapter. When you got to piece things together again after you get it partly made, it's quite a thing to join on again. So here I am, reading from the 5th chapter of Daniel. I like to get Daniel's quality. I'm not so much concerned about wisdom, about knowledge, that I am about spirit. Now, you understand. I'll read from the 20th verse of the 5th chapter of Daniel. I'm not pretending to give any great knowledge, only practical living with God is what I'm after. But when this is Nebuchadnezzar, he was really caught up in wealth and pleasure, and here he is. But when his heart was lifted up, it may be all right to have wealth and have pleasure, but you cannot let it ruin your heart like he did. When his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened, he did a lot of very bad things in pride. He was disposed from his kingly throne. That's a hard knock. And they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. So from in a time of wealth and honor and glory, he was reduced down to this state. A lot of people drugs and wine throws them down into the gutter. And they fed him with grass like an ox. And his body was wet with the dew of heaven till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men. Now that's what we got to come to, the true knowledge that God is over all and he's ruling. And that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. That's one verse. I can try to read the other. Now let's not get like Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up in our pride because we have a lot or know a lot. We must keep humble down at God's feet. That's the lesson we get out of that. And thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart to thou knowest at all. We know how that we should be humble and true like Daniel was, but we don't do it sometimes. But hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought thee vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy Lord, and thy wives, and concubines, have drank wine in them. And thou hast praised the God of silver and gold and brass and iron and wood, stone. Now this is a wrong thing to do, to set your eyes on the wealth of the world, which see not nor hear nor know. And the God in whose hand is thy bread, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Now this is a bad mistake this king made, and I trust we'll escape that kind of a thing. I'm reading this for personal benefit, but not for knowledge, future knowledge or anything. Then was the part of the hand set from him, and his writing was written. And this is what was written on the wall. Everybody seems to know this. And this is the writing that was written. Meaning, people, I can't say that. Anyway, the interpretation is, and this is the interpretation of the thing, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished. The other, thou art weighed in the balance and found wanting. And the other is, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Now here is the thing we don't want to lose. The kingdom of God is within us. We are really kings. In God's sight, he wants us kings and rulers and everything that's honorable and right. But when you do foolishly and deny the God of heaven, you're going to lose everything that you have. So let's be humble before God like Daniel and wise. This is the lesson I get out of it. Be humble before God and wise to walk in the Spirit, so we'll not lose our kingdom and like poor old Nebuchadnezzar. Then commanded Belshazzar and thy clothing, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. Now, you poor little nobody can be something in God's kingdom when the great kings, rulers, and wealth and everything can come to naught. You can be something in God's great kingdom. That's the lesson I get out of this. Well, I've still got 5 minutes. Well, I'll pray a little bit and you can finish. Dear Lord, we pray that you will grant us Daniel's spirit and wisdom, the wisdom of the Bible, that we will be holy and pure and right and godly and live a life that will be honored up in heaven, that we'll hear you say, well done, good and faithful servant. Have all of us who know the Scriptures and seek to obey them, be faithful in every way. We ask it in your name. Amen.
Thank you. Sharon, you had your two children here to start on this program, but one by one, they got a little restless. Anyway, this is a poem that my mother used to recite, and I'm sure you'll remember it too. It's called The Long View. Some day of days, some dawning yet to be, I shall be clothed with immortality. And on that day, I shall not greatly care that Jane spilt candle grease upon the stair. It will not matter then, as once it did, that careless hands have chipped my teapot lid. I groan, being burdened, but in that glad day I shall forget vexations by the way. That needs were often great when means were small will not perplex me any more at all. A few short years at most, it may be less, I shall have done with earthly storm and stress. So for this day I lay me at thy feet. Oh, keep me sweet, my master, keep me sweet. Anyway, we had quite a time trying to get ready to come here today with about, how many, 10 of us there, and one thing and another, and the children trying to get everybody ready and get down. It took 2 cars to bring us down here today. And so it was a little bit, you just have to pray that prayer. Oh, keep me sweet, my master, keep me sweet. And I'm not just saying this to be a flatterer, but I must say that we have appreciated your participation in our family life, because you're always very calm, and you sit down and talk things out with a gentle, quiet voice, and you don't just flare up and get upset and all this. You take and you set a very good example for us, and I want to thank you for that. And it's wonderful when the family come home, isn't it, Dad? And they contribute each in their individual way, and help us as we get together. We're adding Amy's family times, and we've had a couple of them this year. Our anniversary in the fall when you came, our golden wedding anniversary, and so we're very fortunate to have had you back again. And I see here another poem that Mother used to recite, The Watered Lilies. The master stood in his garden among his lilies fair, which his own right hand had planted and trained with tenderest care. He looked at their snowy blossoms and marked with observant eye that his flowers were sadly drooping, their leaves were parched and dry. My lilies need to be watered, the heavenly master said. Wherein shall I draw it for them and raise each drooping head? Close to his feet in the pathway, empty and frail and small, an earthen vessel was lying, which seemed of no use at all. But the master saw it and raised it from the dust in which it lay, and smiled as he gently whispered, This shall do my work today. It is only an earthen vessel, but it lays so close to me. It is small, but it is empty. That is all it needs to be. So to the fountain he took it and filled it to the brim. How glad was that earthen vessel to be of some use to him. He watered the drooping flowers until they revived again, and the master saw with pleasure that his labor was not in vain. He poured forth the living waters over the lilies fair until the vessel was empty, and again he filled it there. His own hand had drawn the waters that refreshed the thirsty flowers, but he used the earthen vessel to carry the living showers. Unto itself it whispered as he laid it aside once more, Still will I lie in his pathway just where I did before. Close would I keep to the master, empty would I remain, and someday he may use me to water his flowers again. Well, that's a poem that I've always liked, and that's what we all want, to be a blessing in this world. And channels of blessing, and I'm glad that you children all share your father's views in life.
Your mother's.
And so thank you for coming and being with us today, and the Lord bless you and your family. Same goes for all of our children. And I'll say goodbye for today. I'm sorry if we put the family out in front too much, but our intentions were the very best, and I hope you've received something from these programs. And the Lord bless you. Hope to see you again.